What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the Gotham After Show on the TV stream. What is the name of the thing again? My fault.
theStreamtv.
You say it. Say it.
I'll shut up. theStream.tv.
Fan Show Network. Thank you very much. I'm your host, Devon, okay? And on my left, we got your boy, David.
Hi, David Fichtenmayer. Glad to see you guys back.
On my right, we have the lovely Vi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 2.
And at the end over here, you can't forget your boy, Tommy.
Hello, Tommy, Bechtold. Good to be here.
All right. Now, instead of looking at the screen, staring at us blankly, go ahead and invite your friends. Tell everybody, tell your mama, tell her friends to tell her friends to go on here and watch us. It's Gotham After Show. I know you just saw the episode. Come on. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to start this off with the same question I'm pretty sure you guys was looking for, the same one we were all asking. Who the hell is Patty and Doug? Now, Tommy threw it out there.
I recognize the names Patty and Doug, and I immediately think of the cartoon characters from Nickelodeon's Doug. Patty Mayonnaise and Doug Funny. That theory was thwarted by my friends here, but I'd like to hold on to it until it's proven absolutely wrong.
Yeah. It could be a crossover. It could be a Doug Batman crossover.
Yeah. Now, David, I remember you were saying the whole thing about there was a with the Patty and Doug, they started taking the kids and everything like that, and then later in the show they started revealing something about the doll maker.
Yes, they had the. I know who the doll maker is. You know, it's a very known Batman or DC Universe villain, and I remember. I think it was last year in the middle of second season of Arrow, they did a episode of the doll maker there, and they name dropped doll maker here. So now I'm wondering, and we never actually caught the doll maker. We just caught his little thugs and all this stuff. Do we have a seasoned villain? Oh. Are we hinting at something?
Good point. But at the same time, man, if he was mentioned in the Arrow, okay, and
could
now
there
he's
be a
mentioned,
crossover?
And yeah, is that something that we're talking about? Because this is way before Arrow. Right. Remember, the dude in Arrow was only like 20-something. You know what I'm saying? Gotham, you know, it's in the past, so maybe he's young right now. Maybe it's like you were saying, it's a family business.
Yes, that it's a family business.
Yeah, it might be something that we can consider, okay. And but I don't really know what exactly he does. So you say he just takes kids and then he turns them into dolls, or does he just spit out dolls of what?
Well, it depends on which version of the doll maker we're talking about here, because there's 3 different doll makers. There's been different incarnations. Yeah, there's been different incarnations of the doll maker going on here. But mostly, there's one where I think it was Supergirl. They were trying to catch the doll maker, and when kids were disappearing, and then when a kid disappeared, a doll would appear on like the police station's doorstep. Oh. And then later on, they figured out that those dolls were actually the missing kids. Oh. And then there's another doll maker who would kidnap these people and turn these same people into killer robot machines. So I don't think we're gonna go with that route here for the sake of Gotham.
No, we're not taking that route. What?
This is a dark
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's
villain.
a dark.
Yeah, okay, you gotta be pretty smart too if you turn these kids into toys. Like, I mean, when I realized I was out playing with rocks and sticks, I didn't know how to turn them into dolls and robots.
So we're assuming this is again a very well-educated villain. Master's degree. Can we all agree? Probably a master's degree.
Say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a surgeon.
Perhaps a doctorate.
Oh, okay. So he's been in school for about 15, 20, 30 years.
He's still paying his loans off. Maybe that's why he started this crime.
He's got a side business.
You know, can't get people, so he just snatches them up off the streets.
Sure.
You know? Okay, I see that. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Gotham Talk on Twitter. Their name is @GothamTalk. So go check them out, follow them, and tune into their Gotham Talk. Look, you know what? Let's get real here for a second, because I'm fumbling my words all up. Okay, tune in to their Gotham podcast. Okay, at blogtalkradio.com/Gotham Talk. Okay, did I get that right? Did I say it right?
You did great, man.
Yep,
I don't know, maybe some chewing gum, something.
You done good.
The tongue
That
all
was
out.
really good, Devon.
Cool.
I thought maybe Patty got you with her poison pen, and you were just
Maybe. I was feeling a little itch on my tongue.
Before we go too far, though, I'd just love to say that Lily Taylor was amazing. Like, one of my big things with this show is, like, I love the macabre more so than, like the gritty, like, realism or whatever. And so I just loved, like, Lily Taylor's, like, super weird, like, oh, gosh, we lost some of the kids. I almost heard, well, that was kind of Fargo, but I kind of heard some, like, East Coast, like, oh, we're missing some kids. I just love that character. It was great.
Yeah. And with that being, she was very creepy. She was creepy as hell with the little haircut and everything.
Yeah.
But
and like the weird little like Girl Scout hat. Anyway.
Girl Scout hat, and what can you do without that?
Well accessorized.
But yeah, so all right. So another thing that I was curious about, and I'm pretty sure we can all agree on, okay, was that whole Falcone Wayne thing that they were talking about during the Fish conversation that she had with him. I don't know if y'all saw it too. But remember he was saying the Waynes and the Falcone had a very close relationship. They were part of the little family. They all live in the same house, not literally, but along those lines.
The same Gotham house.
So my question is, to what extent are we talking about with this whole relationship? Like, I mean, I understand you got good, you got to have the evil, stuff like that, but were they like symbiotic relationship where they worked off of each other, or was it like, Waynes were the symbol of good and Falcone was a symbol of bad? They couldn't work with each other. Like, what are we talking about here?
So here's what I'm thinking. So if we look back to last week's episode, Carmine Falcone tried to say to Jim Gordon, I was friends with your father. We understood each other. Now he's saying that about the Wayne family. These are two dead entities that he's making this claim that he was close to. So he's really kind of making an argument that's not really an argument that can be proven or disproven, because the only other people that could corroborate what he's saying are dead. So that could just be a character trait of his to be like, these people and I understood each other, and now, something bad happened to them, but you should behave. That could be his way of getting people to fall in line with him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's full of it, but
He sound like it. He walk like a duck.
It could be one of those things where it's like, remember last episode he said you cannot have organized crime without law and order.
Yeah.
He's obviously the organized crime section of this.
Yeah.
So these other people could be the law and order, which makes you think, was there a little bit of corruption on that side of the law and order?
Sure.
You mean
In the
Wayne
family, or maybe with Gordon's father.
And
Yeah.
Speaking of
Everybody else in the city's crooked. Why not?
Well, they're the
Yeah.
1%. You don't get to be the 1%.
Hey,
You gotta
exactly.
get your hands a little dirty.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I
that
think-
also brings you to the Fish and Falcone relationship you were talking about.
I didn't think that Laszlo beating, Laszlo's like her new penguin boy toy, which, I mean, if Laszlo's the new penguin, she wasn't fooling around with penguin. What is this?
nah.
So anyway, I felt like the Laszlo beating was kind of random. Like, that guy wasn't like set up as like someone that really meant something to her. So like all of a sudden him getting beat up, I'm like, why do we care? I don't know. You guys feel me? I was
Well-
just like, who's Laszlo? Why do we care? Let him get beat up.
All I gotta say is Laszlo must be doing something right, because when she saw him getting hit, she was like, everybody get out! Everybody get out! He hitting my man! Like, she got deep for a second. I was like, whoa.
I don't think the point of that beating was about it's her boy toy. The point of the beating is Falcone saying that I own you and everything
Sure.
I have is mine, and I can take it from you.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's the point. He's flexing his muscles, letting her know I'm still in charge.
Yeah, and I agree with you totally, but it's just like, since when does Fish care about any of her henchmen? I don't think they set it up to make him seem like
But
anything special.
she's a crime boss herself, right? So that's disrespect.
Yeah.
And that'll
This is
get
true.
you
This is
pretty
true.
far, smacked around on the streets.
is true.
I my days in organized crime, I don't have much I can tell you.
Tell us about your
But
days
it
in organized
sounds
crime.
like what you saying is true. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say you got
Well,
a
yeah.
point.
I think it was kind of similar. Like, it would be the same as if he had knocked an expensive painting off the wall. What he said was like, "This is your property. I'm breaking your property."
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of just a message.
Okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah,
send a message.
yep, and she
Gotta
got
send a message. Yeah, she definitely got it. She definitely got it. And by the way, shout out to Gotham Addicts. I think you guys remember them, at Gotham Addicts on Twitter. And check out the Facebook group that they got going on now. It's facebook.com/groups/Gotham Addicts. Said it right. No word fumbling or
good
nothing.
job.
Right?
You must have
know
done your
what I'm
tongue
saying?
twisters
I've been
before
over
the
here
show.
practicing, you know what I'm saying?
Poison
So,
is wearing off now.
Yeah,
Good.
And also, let's bring up the Penguin. Okay,
Yes,
we all know
please.
and love, well, you love the
I
Penguin
love the
quite
Penguin.
a bit. So the Dark Bird returns because he ain't dead, So what effect are we gonna see on Gordon when Penguin makes his way, waddles his way all the way back to Gotham? Because now he's still in transition. He's kidnapping people. He's over here trying to be like, hey, I got your boy. Even though he's not very good of a hostage
Yeah.
negotiator, as we see.
Gotta work
Bless
on
his
it, by the
heart.
way.
And bless the little pop collar white boy that he was
I
about
know,
to take his
that
eyes
was
out.
my favorite. That was
He
my
definitely
favorite.
had that Abercrombie shirt up. He was
I
like,
know.
yeah, what's up?
As soon as he got in that car, I was like, oh my gosh, look at that guy's yellow popped collar. It was too funny. And then when he killed him and he abducted him or whatever, and then he stole it, I was like, oh, look at that.
My thing is, they just driving with open bottles, just like, what's
Yeah.
up? Yeah, you want something to drink? Yeah, here goes another one. I
Okay,
got
how
open
many of you
back.
guys have ever done that in a small town, though?
Yeah.
You
I
can
mean,
do that in small towns.
I went to Texas Tech and loved
That
it.
was
And we
like the
still
thing
was
to do,
kind of
road
like,
trips.
Yeah.
put them under the seat, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I don't know, but
Shoot,
hey.
you can, I used to ride the New York subways
Yeah.
in containers.
And actually, what was that thing he had on the wall? Like, he had this big old, like, whatever that was on the wall. You know, the schematics and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What is he looking for? Like, is he investigating on something on his own?
I don't
or
know.
what?
It just made him look crazy. Like he has,
Yeah.
like Like he's one of those like schizophrenics that sees like
I
weird
think
connections between things.
it's definitely introduced him as the person who, like we said last swim,
Yeah.
penguin eat fish. We
Well, yeah.
definitely established him at this point as the person who's coming after Fish Mooney.
Yeah.
Will
Well,
he be the person to take her down?
and just one cool little like design element that I saw was there was like a can of sardines like next to
Yeah.
where.
Yeah.
And I mean like I get really excited about design elements like that.
I think that board could have been a vision board for him. Maybe he's trying to better himself,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Here are my goals."
And
Because
he-
if you notice, he cut out a little thing of money. He put
did.
just $2
Or
signs.
it's like he can't access his. He doesn't have like regular access to his Pinterest account,
Right.
so that's what he does.
Maybe somebody
Yeah.
read The Secret.
And I did see that one little snippet that he cut out right by Mooney's picture, and it was like, big.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
I didn't see
That was so funny.
I seen it.
yeah. Hey, but just a
funny.
reminder, don't just sit there, okay? Wendell Marshall, yeah, we watching you, bruh, you too. And am I saying this correctly? Spice Nug?
Spice
Yeah.
Nug.
I'm gonna just say, okay, if that's your name, bruh. I didn't name you, your mom did, you talked about that. But what's up, welcome in. Jake, what's up, man? Jeremy Miller, you sound like a rapper. All right, I better see a mixtape on the comments down below. Okay.
Ooh.
But yeah, that also
that.
brings us to our next question. Okay, because
Yeah.
we all saw, the build up to the episode and everything.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, I could have sworn, and I could be wrong, please correct me, but wasn't the episode named Selina Kyle? I didn't see much Selina Kyle in this
Just a little
episode. It felt like, in Transformers, the last one, the fourth one, they was expecting Dinobots, and you got them like at the last little 15
It was only
minutes.
like 10 minutes and then they're dead and they're gone.
And that's what I feel like happened with the Selina Kyle thing. So, yeah, like what's going on? Because I don't know if
Let's-
maybe she has a little backstory. They had a big build up to her at the
Yeah.
end.
Let's
which
talk
we saw.
about continuity and Selina Kyle. On Twitter, I made a joke
Mm-hmm.
about like, oh, we're gonna have a Selina Kyle episode. Let's have another, another milk carton that's 90% empty by the time she gets it.
I saw
and then,
that.
did you notice? Yeah, thanks for retweeting it. Then also, did you notice that after like that guy's eyes got scratched out, her hands were totally unbloodied? I don't know.
And there were no claws.
Continuity.
Yeah, no
and she's
claws,
got
there was no claws.
I mean, like, I got long nails, and I couldn't do that.
Maybe she's like Lady Deathstrike, It's
Yeah,
just-
they're like, they come out.
Either that or she
Really
got the
bad.
ability that dude from Kill Bill that I would just like pop your eyes out real quick. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking about?
yeah.
Just, like, popping them eyes out. Hey, the cat, you don't know.
And when
Yeah.
who did she practice on to get that skill? Like how many people's eyes has she
She's
taken
13.
out?
She's 13, bro. We can't forget
It's
that.
a hard 13.
Yeah. And
Well, she is tough, though. I mean, did you see what she did when she
Yeah.
was like, "You're gonna let me talk to Jim right now, or I'm gonna say you touched me."
Oh, yeah.
That is intense. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like we were talking about how like this shit's getting a little dark in this
Yeah.
episode, but like, and that wasn't even like some of like the more violent stuff that we saw. That was just kind of vicious.
speaking of Saul, remember we were talking about episode 1 about her watching the Wayne's murder. Now, in this one, she was like, I know who killed him. Now, being Batman fans, I'm assuming we all are. Okay, we all know the whole Joe Chill story, which you guys know the whole Joe Chill story. Okay, but something tells me that's not going to be the guy in this one.
No.
Like it's going to be somebody that they've already introduced us to.
I don't think it could be the guy. I don't know. Who knows what they'll do? It might come out to be Joe Chill, but I mean, just the fact that they've introduced Selina Kyle into the Bruce Wayne's parents' murder is totally mythos breaking by itself.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like with that out of the way, they could go anywhere.
Could be
That's
anybody.
true.
It could be anybody. It might not be Joe Chill. You never know.
Or
Yeah.
Joe Chill, they could make it an alias or something because we were already, I mean, not to go totally away from Selena, but we were already talking about some stuff that we noticed about Miss Barbara Gordon that we think is kind of mythos breaking, like with the fact that she called in, she had some info. Okay, so Barbara Gordon, Batwoman, later Oracle, and then today she called into the paper, she had the info, and then I think that one of you guys mentioned that there was a shot in the last episode of her
In a watchtower.
in a watchtower. So it's like, are we going to kind of skip a generation instead of it being Jim Gordon's daughter? Is it going to be his fiance slash wife that's going to be Oracle?
That's a good question because obviously everything that everybody does in this, setting, this Gotham setting, always has repercussions and consequences. So her calling in, you already had the police chief rushing up in there like, hey, who the hell called that person? And then it's like, all right, well, I mean, I ain't gonna say my wife did it, but I wouldn't be surprised somebody found out and then beat her legs in. So it might skip the whole Batwoman phase because that's supposed to be towards the Batman time, but she might get like a little paraplegic Oracle hint,
Yeah, that makes me sad.
That's kind of the beauty of this show, though, like we brought up last week, is that this is uncharted territory.
Yeah.
This is a whole new telling of the story, so all of the characters are different. Selina Kyle, we're meeting at a much younger age now, and we're seeing her have early interactions with Bruce Wayne. It's all being kind of crafted piecework from different comic book series, like different one-off books that they've kind of like borrowed an element from here and borrowed an element and also creating new things on their own. So it's kind of like, we don't know, like, what is Catwoman going to become eventually? Like, is she going to be, she's already calling herself Cat now. There's no, like, it's different than the movies for sure. Certainly the incarnations of Catwoman we saw in the movies, this is a completely different Catwoman.
Definitely getting a good glimpse of, what's to be, what's coming soon, that kind of thing.
I gotta admit that when I heard there was gonna be a Selina Kyle story and with all the little kids getting abducted, I was hoping that we might see Holly or her little sister or something like that, but I didn't see anyone.
Maybe she, I feel like they might go with like Holly being a friend of an orphan, that kind of thing, like an orphan friend or something like that. Who knows, but.
As long as it's not Halle Berry, I'm cool with that.
Yes, I can actually agree with that. That came on a few days ago on TV.
You didn't like it?
I don't know how I feel about that one. I like Halle, but
she looks good in that suit, but other than that,
don't
can't
do
really
that again to us. You need to.
It was a tough, right? It's a tough movie.
Yeah. And don't forget, guys, check out Gotham on Tag TV. Okay, or excuse me, TV Tag, and they're on Twitter at TV Tag Gotham. There was nothing after that. At TV Tag Gotham. Just keep that. Okay. I don't know why I left it open for something else.
It was so mysterious.
I was like dot. Okay.
Ellipses.
But
TV Tag Gotham?
So let's go on to what Gotham is really about. As we always say, Jim Gordon. Now, in this episode, this boy likes him some Jim Gordon. Now, on this episode, we will see that there was a lot of tension, like real thick tension, in between Jim and Bullock, okay? And my personal question is it something going on behind the scenes that we don't know with Bullock that's causing him to, he had like, 6 nut shots and he took 9 people down. He was beating a dude with a phone book. He was just very angry this episode. I'm pretty sure y'all saw it, we saw it, everybody saw it.
Yep.
And then Jim, he definitely, like you said, he was manning up for real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was getting in some people's faces, grabbing some shirts, decking a few guys.
Yeah,
So.
and have we seen him shoot anyone yet?
He shot an old man. I don't know how I feel about that. He shot him.
Yeah.
Who was going to kill some kids, so, he had to do it.
That's true. That's very true.
Well,
and
I like the fact that, as far as from this episode to last episode, I feel like we're seeing an entirely different Jim Gordon. We didn't really see any character development. Jim Gordon was the least interesting character of the first episode.
Easily.
And now in this episode, he's a badass. Like, you see this guy and you're like, wow, all right, cool. I want to come back and see you some more,
Yeah. I wouldn't call him a badass yet. I would say that he's finally realizing he's got to play by a different set of rules.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still got to admit that even though he's the center of it, he's kind of underwhelming. But that's me. You heard me say that. I love the crazy characters. Oh my gosh, I loved Carol Kane today. Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
I loved Crazy Lily Taylor. I love Crazy Penguin. So I'm just kind of like the straight man, Jim. I don't know.
Oh, you like them serious bad boys.
Right.
Them penitentiary bad boys. Cool.
I don't necessarily mind the Jim Gordon being a less interesting character. And I don't even know if it's less interesting, but he's just more grounded. this show has a lot of fantastical elements to it. It has, these legendary bad guys that we've come to know and love, and we're seeing them, kind of coming into their own. And now we have Jim Gordon coming into his own. But he's always kind of been an Eagle Scout in all of the incarnations of Batman. And as a police procedural, you already, if you put it up against a Law and Order or a show like that, it's there always is the hothead, and that's Bullock, and then there always is the one who's kind of methodical and plays everything by the book. Yeah. So he is kind of serving that role in the functionality of the show, in terms of it being a police procedural TV show, a mystery, if you will, where they're trying to solve this, in this case, this week, the missing kids. So I don't necessarily mind. I would like him to have maybe some more interesting things to do, but I think that I think it's kind of necessary for right now as a function of the show to have him be this kind of G. Willikers like George Washington.
Yeah, because he's the only one that is.
Yeah.
Everybody's a quirky character other than Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna take one of those excuse the reference though, like a Breaking Bad route, where at the beginning he was like this, simple straight arrow Eagle Scout, as you said, and then he's gonna become like that gritty, dark growing the mustache out. I need
Yeah.
glasses because I've been stressing, that kind of type.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Give him a couple years. So maybe season 2, season 3,
Yeah.
we might see
Yeah,
that.
that'd
I
be
think as
kinda
soon
cool.
as he starts to get some facial hair, we'll see
Yeah.
him starting to get kind of gritty.
Okay,
Can
okay.
an
Shoot a
actor
few
grow
more people.
facial hair?
You know,
Yeah.
Can
take
he
a
grow
couple more.
facial hair? 90210?
He can't.
I don't know. Can he? It doesn't.
I
look
mean,
like
in the
it.
OC,
I've never
they
seen
had
him with a
none,
beard.
you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I've never seen him on any show
Yeah,
with a
maybe
beard.
they're gonna have to give him like a merkin.
They might have to. They might have to. But, you know.
Just give him yours,
Yeah.
Devon.
I would. If I could, I'd definitely donate some of this right
Everybody
here.
here.
And so we're going to move on to some of those fan questions that we've been getting. Okay, we haven't been ignoring you guys, so don't worry. This one comes from @GamerOzzy. Okay. Do you guys think that the reason Bullock drinks so much is to drown his guilt in regards to his crooked ways?
It's profound.
I mean, realistically, that's a very common thing to do with people, so I wouldn't be surprised. He obviously seems very crooked. I wouldn't trust him. If I called 911 and said Bullock was coming, I'd be like, nah, it's cool. I got
Right.
it. You know?
And now here's what I'll say. You know, they say drunk men tell no lies. So this could be a weak point for him in the future and a thing that Gordon could exploit. If this guy's getting smashed all the time, he may let some information about some things that he's done, and maybe if he knows a little more than he's letting on about the Wayne murders, that may come out during one of his day drinking sessions.
That's
you
true.
know?
Well, what's interesting here is that we actually didn't see him get drunk this episode.
That's true.
Yeah.
But actually, this episode, we also didn't see him really do anything crooked either.
That's true.
Last
Well-
episode, he was super crooked and drunk all the time.
Yeah.
You know, he played pretty close to the straight cop. Like, yeah, he did some shady things, but he didn't set anybody up. He didn't kill anybody, anything like that.
I think they had to kind of pump the brakes on him being a crooked cop a little bit because they went 100 miles an hour on his being a bad cop last week, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of framed someone for murder, broke a lot of laws. So I thought, I don't mind if there's going to be 22 or 23 episodes of this show. They
Yeah.
kind of got to build it up a little slower. So dialing it back a notch for him might have been a good move. But
Yeah.
you're right,
Yeah,
that was
and
interesting.
I'm still of the point that he's not crooked enough. I mean, if you're going to live in a city that is this dark, where people start to like put on like costumes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like this is like an unprecedented level of darkness and messed upness. So I'm just like, I think that things have to be pretty sad.
Yeah.
In order to get to that, yeah,
I like
messed
that word.
upness, it's
I
a
like
new
that
word.
word. So we're gonna move on to the next question from @CoffeeCupGoodness. I'm assuming you got a platinum Starbucks card. Am I the only one who liked Fish Mooney? I loved how flamboyant she was. Okay, all right. I can. You might be one of the only ones. I don't know.
I would just like to say this about I love larger than life characters, but I think there's a difference between camp and between what I'll call fantastic realism. So you have like Fish, you know, which is kind of the difference between like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mr. Freeze?
No, the director. I was just
Joel
asking.
Schumacher.
So the difference between like the Schumacher movies and the Nolan movies, like the
Schumacher.
Schumacher.
I got you.
Tongue twisters,
Let's
man.
just
Where
call
am
him
I
bat
tonight?
nipples. Just call him
Bat nipples. We'll call it bat nipples.
Bat
So
nipples.
like, you know, those were kind of campy, larger than life characters. The Christopher Nolan characters were larger than life as well, but somehow they were justified and somehow they were really human. I think.
Okay, I feel that. I can see that. I see where you're going with it. You know.
All right.
And
As long as you respect my opinion.
I
John,
do.
that's all that
You know what I'm
matters.
saying? Because we here, girl. We here.
we're
You
here.
know
And
what I'm saying?
Coffee Cup Goodness, happy National Coffee Day, which is actually
really?
today.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Sweet. I
Cool.
celebrated by drinking a pot of coffee like I do every day.
There you go.
I celebrated by talking about coffee.
Yeah?
I don't really drink it much, but cool.
Thanks, Coffee
you know.
Cup Goodness.
Good
Thank you, Coffee
observance.
Cup
Yes.
Goodness.
Good observance of the holiday. Thank you.
Next question comes from @Michael_Fricker. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Fricker? All right. What do you guys think about the rather graphic and violent Catwoman scratching the guy's eyes out?
I love
well,
it.
yeah, I thought that was pretty dope.
Love it.
I
love
wish
it.
maybe she had like a weapon she pulled out and then put it back. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something we could see, because I looked at her hands and I bite my fingernails and her fingernails look like my fingernails. So I can't scratch nobody's eyes out.
All I'm saying, we've had Halle Berry, who was not a graphic and violent Catwoman.
Right.
We've had Anne Hathaway, which was not a violent and graphic Catwoman.
Right.
But we did have Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
And she kicked some serious ass.
Yeah.
And
was
she
a-
messed some
she was
people
a
up.
dark
She
one.
did.
Some
She was a
serious.
very dark Catwoman.
Sure.
Some serious cartwheels.
Yeah.
And
And
I
very-
love that. I feel like maybe this cat might move into the Michelle Pfeiffer realm
Yeah.
of Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for her threatening a cop, you know, saying that she's going to say she touched him, she's already pretty wily.
Yeah, I like that. Like, basically, the first week, she was kind of established as almost a good guy, you know, like almost like she kind of just like witnessed Bruce Wayne's parents being murdered and was like, I mean, or an innocent child. To me, this was like, we got to remember that Catwoman is originally a villain. Now she's kind of moved over into like the anti-hero territory because of the movies and where they've kind of pushed the Batman and Catwoman love story in the recent years. But like, she's supposed to be a bad guy at first. So this week kind of put that like, oh, she's got a mean streak in her and she'll hurt somebody if she has to, which I like. I thought that was good.
I can see that.
Harkens back to, like you said, the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman.
Yeah.
It was a little more evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wonder if she's going to get licked back to life by a horde of cats.
Yeah, about that. We just gonna
Except
leave.
for that part.
We just gonna leave Halle Berry out of this. You know,
With a taser.
My black card's like, all right, Devin, slow down now. You talking about Halle Berry? I'm sorry, Halle. If you see this, still hit me. You know what I'm
She's
saying?
watching for sure.
But so last question actually comes from Spice Nug. Welcome back. It's good to talk to you,
Hey, Spice
Michelle.
Nug.
They say what improved this episode and what didn't. Now, somewhat of a vague question. I'm guessing you're comparing to the last episode, of course.
I think this was a stronger episode for sure.
Much better. It was
Because
much better.
one of my issues with the first episode was, you know, you're talking about like the whole like police crime procedural, and I felt like the pilot had like an identity crisis. Like it didn't know if it wanted to be like a CSI or if it wanted to be, God, like a Pushing Daisies. I don't know what else you would compare it to, but it felt like it was sort of starting to find its groove. I still think that it has an identity crisis, sort of, but I felt like it was finding it.
Yeah. No, it definitely found their place in this one. It was a lot more, and it's little things, but like the blood splatter when he stabbed him in the car.
Yeah.
I gotta give a shout out to that. You know, I like that that little piece. You know, and the eye scratching, he had the blood all over the hands and face, and then the part where she was just straight up like, "Oh, don't even trip, I got you." Click. Oh, my bad. Here, let me trim it. What was that sound? And then she blew his head out. I like that. That took the dark tone that much more.
So I love this. That, like, you guys are excited about the darkness, whereas like last week when I was like, "Yeah, Penguin's doing this," and you guys all thought it was crazy, and now you guys are down with the
We
darkness
thought
too.
she was crazy because you were talking about like getting in bed with him after that, and I was like, let him serve his
I wanted
time
to give him a
first.
hug.
I mean, I don't want to be romantically involved with any of the murderers on this show.
Yeah.
I would like to say that first and foremost.
With any of these fictional murderers.
Well, right. That's a good point. We probably won't date any of these fictional characters.
None.
That took it down a notch.
that
That
did.
took it down a sad path. But, you know, I thought this week was good, too. You know, pilots are tough because you got to shoehorn a lot of information in. You got to introduce people to a lot of characters, and you got to educate your audience, basically. So you get to week 2, and now you get a chance to really kind of take a deep breath and explore things a little slower. The pacing of this episode was a lot easier to follow, I thought. You know, we jumped around a lot. We went to a lot of different locations, but it was a little more of a clear narrative, whereas last week was kind of like almost a series of vignettes introducing you to Gotham City and the different people around there. So I kind of like, it makes me feel a lot better about the series going forward in terms of it being a show that you can watch on as a standalone and not just a companion to the Batman universe.
What about you, D?
Yeah, I think it was a lot better. I mean, last episode was just really, it was all over the place, you know. And this one was like Tommy said, it was a lot more linear in the storytelling. It made sense. You could actually track and follow because now you know what the detectives are doing. It wasn't all over the place. And I also agree, it's got a lot of work to do because it still seems like it is all over the place. But like for instance, when they jump to Penguin and they show Penguin's story, that's great, but you're only doing it for like 15 seconds and that's all I see for the entire episode. Then why show it to me in the first place? Commit more time to it so we can see that clear direction of where things going.
Okay.
And I mean, we're talking about Batman, detective comics, and there's not a lot of detective work being done.
That is true.
So
I'm pretty sure they'll get to it though. I'm giving them the benefit of the
I
doubt.
like
You know
that.
what I'm saying? I gotta have hope. You know.
Yeah.
And shout out on Twitter to @MamaVamper. There's not an E right there, so @MamaVamper. Okay. And @Marine Always. Shout out, I'm assuming a vet of some sort. Boy David here. I know he's a vet as well.
U.S.
Yeah.
Army though, sorry buddy.
Okay. And
But hoorah.
@Fair Watches Live, PHER Watches Live, okay, and at its_so criminal, okay. So @its_so criminal. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. And go ahead and subscribe now. Okay, to theStream.tv here on YouTube. Continue to tweet us, all through the week, your questions and everything. Don't be afraid. We are listening and watching you. Okay, I can't get that through you enough. Don't forget the hashtag Gotham AS. The AS stands for After Show for my simple people. Hashtag Gotham AS Twitch, send us your questions. Look up Facebook everywhere. If any kind of social media you got, look us up. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the show. Devon, David, Vi, Tommy, were your people here. So see you next week after the next episode of Gotham.
Goodbye.
See you for number 3.
Bye.